Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maighstir Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people on whose traditional lands these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Entertainment only. Okay, if I'm looking a bit too toned in the face, it's because I've had the really short haircut and my brow has not yet been exposed to the sun in the way the rest of me is. Okay, what I'm going to have a look at is now the dabble. It's not quite a dabble. It's a bit more than a dabble with the far right in the EU. I'm using my runic tarot here, upping the level a little bit. So the absolute far right, currently in Poland and Hungary. If I'm looking this way, it's because this is where my notes are. The coalition between centre rights and far rights alliances, we've got Finland, Latvia, Slovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Italy. Centre right, we've got Sweden, Estonia, Lithuania, Ireland, Netherlands, Belgium, France, Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. Holy crumbs. Now, as I explained in my Canada video before, what's really happening is that because, and you are not alone if you're feeling it, we are in a moment, a time, and it's not a click of the fingers time, it's a process time of real intense change. And it's change, it's like going from the agricultural era into the industrial era, and it's really scary for a lot of people. You notice it on social media when something comes up about an advancement in technology in regards to renewable energy, in regards to climate change, etc. There's this real aggressive backlash from those that fear the change. So just be aware of it. It is part of a process that we are going through at the moment. The only certainty in life is change. The only guarantee is change. So we either embrace it or we live in fear of it. And sadly, there is a very vocal element that is living in fear of change. They want things to be how they were. However, they remember the good times of how it was, but not the bad. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at the rise of the energies behind the rise of the far right in Europe. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, let's see where it's going to go. What is behind it now? What is happening is because of this fear. I'm going to explain what I said in the Canada reading just in case you didn't see it. I had this clearest vision when I was thinking about the EU and Canada in regards to the rise of the far right, in that there was a stick of dynamite over here. It was almost like a Roadrunner movie. Stick of dynamite with a really long fuse. And this end of the fuse was lit. This is the far right. And it was sizzling along and splutter, 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 sizzle, splutter, 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 and then eventually the fuse went out before it reached the stick of dynamite. Thank goodness. The sizzling got about 2/3 of the way along and then it fizzled out. Now, what I'm really envisioning this is literally the dabble with the far right that is going to fizzle out with the demise of Trump, with the change in Canada that's coming through. But you've got, for example, the elections in the Netherlands and Argentina, where they put in place a far right leader or centre right centre right leaning that way leader who are not going to be able to get their aggressive agendas through. They're going to be seen really like Trump. I mean, if you think back to Trump a few years ago, he's going to get rid of Obamacare and bring through his new health plan, and his new health plan is going to be wonderful. Where is this health plan? And his ranting about the wall and all this that he was going to do that he was never able to achieve. And I get the same feeling in the EU and around other parts of the world that is going to be instrumental in the demise of, in the demise of this leaning into the conservative right. But I'm also getting that the fear of change is also going to um, uh, um, they're going to realize it's nothing to fear. Now, I'm going to put it a certain way, use it really locally for you just to give you an idea. Locally, there was a surf club. It's Australia. We have surf clubs everywhere. Locally, there was a surf club where a development application was put through to knock it down and replace it with a beautiful. I mean, it was a really rundown old 1950s jobby, and replaced it at prime location. Replaced it with a multi-story tower which has a restaurant on top and a cafe in the bottom and function centres and blah blah blah. And there was so much backlash and outrage about this development. Oh, it's going to be awful. It's going to cause all these issues. It's going to. And it was literally this fear campaign, very vocal fear campaign. The old surf club got knocked down, got replaced by this new development, and all those that were crying wolf about this development, guess what? You see them regularly down there having a meal and a coffee and just enjoying the facility. It was an unfounded fear, and that's what the right is playing on at the moment. And what I'm really seeing is when these developments, these changes actually go through and they are proven, that fear is going to uh, prove to be unfounded. It's a bit like the outcry about the EVs. Oh, they catch on fire. All these EVs catch on fire. Well, actually, combustion engine vehicles catch on fire nearly 60 to 80 times per population of vehicle on a ratio. I don't think it's quite that high. I think it's about 10 times. Per ratio, they're about 10 times more likely to catch fire in the case uh, then. So, if you have a 100 combustion engine vehicles and 100 electric vehicles, for every one electric vehicle, 10 combustion engine vehicles will catch fire. So, it's, however, they're leaning into this fear. Okay, I've been waffling for way too long. So let's have a look. I'm going to look at the energies of the rise of the far right in Europe, which is real concerning because there's an EU panel election coming up. So let's have a look. Come on down. About time I drew a card. Okay, signify a harsh truth coming forward. A really harsh truth about this far right is coming forward. It's quickly. It's quickly. It's that fizzly dynamite fuse that I saw. Challenged by taking the blindfold off and a decision that needs to be made about which way to move forward. I'm always drawn to the corpses hanging on the tree in the background. At the moment, there's indecision caused by this blindfold, having the eyes covered, sitting in a la 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 type energy. So it is really a crossroads moment for the EU where they have to make a decision about which way to go forward. But at the moment, there is an indecisiveness because they're not seeing clearly. The energies behind the scenes, the Queen of Cups, an emotionally stable queen, but not. She's still got something yet to be revealed from her cup. It is an emotional subject. I'm surprised I haven't got more emotions cards here, but it is an emotional subject here. She's still got something that is to come forward. And the Six of Pentacles, the surrender in the face of the rah, rah, rah. It is a giving and receiving help traditionally. Energies behind the scenes. Locking shields, locking defensive shields is what I'm really getting. The rise of nationalism. Thank you, guys. Love it when they tell me. It's the locking of shields and the loud vocal yelling going on It's the rise of nationalism, which we all know doesn't work. Um, against the locking shields against those that are more vulnerable. Okay, what have we got here? Five of Pentacles, out in the cold. I did ask about the rise of the far right. With whatever is in this cup that is yet to be revealed, they're going to find themselves basically having to fend for themselves and out in the cold. Okay, you. I'm getting that it's those countries that really dabble in this far right are going to be in some way having to lick their own wounds and tend to themselves. This is interesting. And here we've got my Vive la Resistance, my Slav Ukraine card. The youth coming forward. Now the youth, interestingly enough, in a lot of these countries, it's the youth that's putting the far right into play. I think because the older generation like us have seen how devastating they can be. But I'm seeing this as a powerful message being brought forward. Might be with the defeat of Russia. Yes, the defeat of Russia. Page of Wands, this new message of peace coming forward. A new message of peace. Crown, the karma hanging over it. Yeah, I'm not surprised he's here. The emperor, the patriarchal, oligarchical, my way or the highway. Toxic masculine energy doesn't mean it's a male. It just means it's this aggressive energy of dictatorship and oligarchs and autocrats and the Knight of Cups. So the karma hanging over this is, okay, what these energies are offering is the karma hanging over it. The outcome, the Three of Pentacles. The work going on behind the scenes, and I'm holding this up to have a look at his face. It's an ugly, aggressive face that is shielded, that is covered. Why would anyone who is working in a trade in the workshop have their face covered? Because they don't want you to see their face. It's ugly. Eight of Wands, headline grabbing. However, we've got the Four of Swords. In the face of this truth, they're going to find themselves in retreat. And the Seven of Cups. Now, I know in traditional decks this is the illusion, delusion, poor choices card, but I always go by the images. And in this particular deck, it is about the birth of something new that gives hope. The birth of something new that it gives hope. And then the Seven of Wands. A lightning bolt moment that is going to force retreat is what I'm getting of this message. And then we have the new start. It's not going to be easy. I'm just going to put it out there straight up. Then we have a significant new start, a new plan, a new way, where what has gone before is literally being flamed. On the foundation, we've got the King of Wands, my Zelensky Navalny card. In the face of lies and betrayal and deceit. So this King of Wands is coming forth and exposing. Then we have the Ace of Swords, truth, knowledge, wisdom. The Ace of Cups, new emotional beginning. So we've got the three aces here. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because there is this decision to be made and there's a lot of cards here. And even in the future, we've got this aggressive work going on behind the scenes and the message that they're bringing. We've got here where was it? Where did it go? The isolation and having to try and the isolation where they have to try and mend themselves. And that's part of them being exposed, is that it's almost going to swing so far to the right, and they're going to find oh whoops, this is even worse moment for those that go down that path. Show me the future going forward of the far right in the EU. And I can understand why they're dabbling in it. It's going to, can I just say, please hold the faith. It all will be okay, but it's just going to, it's the darkness before the dawn. It's going to get quite ugly. It's going to get aggressive. It's going to get, I'll just pick that card up. Hang on a sec. It's going to get manipulative, the magician, but it's then going to be seen for what it is. But it's not the way forward. So show me the way, show me the future of the far right in the EU. You've got generations coming through who haven't experienced the far right, but all they know is what is at the moment is not working for them, so they're going to have a try. Let's have a look. They're going to that fuse is going to be lit, but it is going to fizzle out before it reaches an explosive point. Show me the future of the far right in the EU. I am seeing that the panel that gets elected in is going to be centre right, but I'm seeing that they're not going to have solutions. Nothing is going to change for those that are voting that way. And in contrast, you've got the progressive. Now, I'm not saying central left, I'm saying from community level up, the progressive is going to come through. So there's going to, it's almost like a clash of the titans is what I'm seeing, but the movement forward. Clash of the titans when, with the rise to power of the centre right to right that are all about power, but the progressive, which is, I'm seeing it as undermining, and they don't know, it's like they're batting around and they don't quite know how to put it out, this rise. Okay, let's see, future of the far right in the EU. Oh, Judgment Day. Signify for them there's going to be a collective awakening in regards to that and a unity of diversity coming forward. The Hermit, far right, they're going to find themselves isolated. Foundation, we've got this Queen of Cups again. She's got this emotion, not quite the emotional maturity. So what's going to happen is that Canada is going to reach this point of emotional maturity before the EU. There is this emotional maturity that is underpinning, but it's not there yet. Okay. In the past, the rise of the EU, bringing forth what they want and flaming the rest. Basically, they're flaming everything except what they feel is important to them. Okay, crowning the reading, the EU, the rise of the EU in Europe, the defiance in the face of the information. However, in the immediate future, we do have a coming together, an emotional coming together of the EU. Interestingly, okay, as I'm looking at this image, you've got the Emperor sitting on his throne and being celebrated. So the immediate future, yeah, I do see that there is going to be the EU panel, or whatever they call it, authority, is going to be toasting this Emperor energy. Externally for them, it's all about feathering their own nests, basically, enriching themselves, but internally, Nine of Swords, it's going to fail. It's an experiment that is going to fail. He's literally one sword off total annihilation. It's the truth is just literally going to stab and stab and stab and stab at this far right movement. The truth and the wisdom and the knowledge, hopes and fears. This is the ending of a cycle for them, where the seeds of healing and opportunity and hope are planted, and they look like magic seeds underground. There is this undercurrent. Community level is what I'm getting, community level. Person to person, individual to individual. It's not so much about talking together, it's about listening together. The outcome, compassionate, empathetic strength, nurturing strength. I'm going to call this card differently because that's the feeling I'm getting there. The major arcana, the manifestation of creating the future, and the high priestess, the rise of the spiritual feminine. It's also the bison in the room that is being ignored, but it is the rise of the feminine spiritual that is going to bring victory. And then we have another major arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. We are at a karmic destiny point where this wheel is turning. The wheel is turning, and then we have the star of hope, the star of all that is good, the star of the best of democracy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana in the outcome. Huge outcome. So I'm just going to put it out there. It's going to get worse than before it gets better with this rise of the far right, but it's going to open a lot of eyes in regards to, it's almost like a oh whoops moment, but it's worse than an oh whoops moment. It stems from those that are feeling disenfranchised, and those are not realizing that it's through acceptance and through working together that they become, that the country becomes greater. And when I'm talking about working together, it's the immigrants, it's the jobs, it's the ability to afford somewhere to live. Instead of the division that the far right is forming, there's a realisation that that does not work, and the EU will swing back to all that is good. But just be prepared. Stay in the faith, stay in the light. Know that it's going to be okay in the long run. Work at a community level for acceptance and progression, and we'll see how it goes. Love to you all. Take care.